Hello, my name is Edgar Herrera. I'm from Mexico City, and I'm currently the president of the Mexican Society for Simulation in Health Sciences. I've also worked as a teacher for several years at a private medical university, mainly in undergraduate simulation. Previously, we would film a video of the simulation session and review the full video later with the participants. This takes a really long time, having to search through the video for the exact moment where something of interest happened. Using Codimg seemed complicated in the beginning, but once everything was set up and running, it was really nothing more than the instructor pressing a few buttons on a checklist on a tablet to grade and evaluate the work being done by the students. This tool has saved us a lot of work in this regard. We always get asked for in-depth feedback from participants in simulations. And previously, this involved a lot of time and wasn't always possible due to time restrictions. This is why this tool has been so innovative for us. With Codimg, we have all these videos separated by participant and use the same rubric to evaluate all the videos. Even though the instructor can't always be in the room personally with each participant, they can now give completely personalized feedback. Another innovation is that before there was a lot of work needed in terms of education and research to obtain all the necessary information from these activities. It would take 5 hours to plan a simulation, 2 hours to do it, 2 hours to debrief the participants, and then all the time needed for editing and analysing the video to get all the needed data. It would take 24 hours to get all the info from a 2-hour simulation. It was a long, heavy process. The first time we did it, we were very enthusiastic about the process, but subsequently, nobody wanted to do it. The advantage of using Codimg is that, although we still have to do the planning stage, it helps us focus on what we want to investigate and the specifics of the simulation. And then, by just pressing a few buttons on the Codimg template, we have the video, the results, and the exact data about what we want to investigate. So, instead of 24 hours it previously took us to evaluate a single activity, it now takes us no more than 4 hours. I believe that our objectives have been met, but we'll continue working on them to identify areas of opportunity. And not just areas of opportunity for our students, but also identifying opportunities where instructors can improve. Areas such as where the teacher's instructions may not be clear, or where we have to improve our own performance. It's been very useful for identifying areas where improvements can be made. Many times we see a teacher who is not bad at their job, but because they have been doing the same thing for several years without change, there may be areas of their practice which need to be worked on. This type of tool helps us to not emphasize errors, but rather make institutions see where improvements can be made. We're also seeing a lot of potential in broadening the scope of our educational research. Previously, there were very few people who wanted to partake in this, as it involved long hours of work to obtain very little data. But with Codimg, we can obtain a lot of data in very little time, with little effort. So, I see a lot of potential in our use of Codimg. Of course, just like any other tool, there's an initial setup period. But this will always exist, no matter what the educational tool being used. It's a process which, while I would not say is cumbersome or tedious, is still something we have to do manually. But once we have developed the rubric and put it in the system, once this is done, it's wonderful. We no longer have to waste paper, and it's extremely intuitive. Basically, if a teacher or student knows how to use a tablet or cell phone to send messages or send videos through the internet, they know how to use this tool. So, these are the great advantages we have seen. To sum up, apart from the first stage, the planning and adjustment period, Codimg really helps us to obtain a lot of information in as short a time as possible.